I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
I'm happy because of being here today. Fuck you.
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal, remember? I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Get in the car.
Fucking shit. Fuck me in the fucking ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new Christmas special review. And this Christmas special is going to be for one of DreamWorks'. Ironically, and it's for pretty much the series that we reviewed this summer, because, well, we had to deal with a live-action, overhyped remake that came out, and we were reviewing the animated films for that. But then, eventually, as the summer was ending, I remembered there were some Christmas specials in this franchise, and decided I would review one of them. The one we got before the second film, the one they did after the first film. Basically that. So, this is going to be a short review because this is really just a kind of not that long Christmas special, so there's not really a lot to talk about, but this is going to be for 2011's Book of Dragons, The Gift of the Night Fairy, the first Christmas special of the How to Train Your Dragon series, and what we kind of got before the series came out. Well, there was the first Cartoon Network series, and well, there was the Netflix series after that, Race to the Edge. But this was before the first part of the series. This was back when the games were still kids. And this was set after the first film. So, what's the plot of this? So, Burke is now enjoying its new alliance with the Dragons ever since the events of the first film, and they're preparing for their first annual Christmas holiday called Snoggletog, which is pretty much Christmas for the Burke residents. But then that spirit gets threatened because all the dragons, except Toothless, who often needs Hiccup to help him fly, suddenly all fly away for some reason that they never know why really yet. So then Hiccup decides to build Toothless a new Prosec to allow him to fly independently, but the dragon takes off as well. Then as the holiday approaches, Hiccup finds himself swept up to learn the dragons' secret the hard way to find a solution to bring them home early. Yeah, so as for my reaction, you all know I reviewed the movies this last summer. So I decided I would review this Christmas special as I finished getting through the series Race to the Edge by the end of the summer. I would review this Christmas special of the series for this Christmas. Well, technically this isn't really the only one because I believe there was another Christmas special they did after the third film as well. That kind of took place before the ending of that movie. That's why I know there was two Christmas specials. This was the first of them they did. Anyway, looking at this special, how is this Christmas special? Well, I would say it's a fine addition to the series, but it's not really like a groundbreaking, memorable Christmas special per se. Because let's face it, it's not really that. I've seen short Christmas specials that feel like more complete stories in a way without being without becoming long films. Like the cartoon Chuck Jones Grinch is a complete story, Frosty the Snowman's a complete story. A Garfield Christmas special actually does feel like a more complete special than kind of this does. This kind of feels a little too quick, but it's a fine addition. It's kind of nice to see how Burke celebrates the holidays and kind of see a little more Hiccup and Toothless' friendship for a brief little bit. And kind of see how the character development has kind of grown from the characters since the first one before the sequels. For the rest of the adventures they have. Yeah, so as you all know, it's based off the 2010 film How to Train Your Dragon, which in turn was inspired by a 2003 novel of the same name. And how was it made? Well, usually when a DreamWorks film is successful, sometimes they'll give it a Christmas special. This is not the first time they've done that. They first started off with Shrek the Halls, then they gave Madagascar a Christmas special. I think they even gave Kung Fu Panda a Christmas special. They gave a Halloween special to Monster vs. Aliens, but nothing else to that film. What else can I think of? They give the Bad Guys a Christmas special, but honestly, I think that Christmas special kind of sucks. I did watch that Christmas special. I thought it was crap. Really, it's not that great. Well, but usually their DreamWorks' Christmas specials are just eh. Oh yeah, right. I remember. Trolls got several specials. Ugh. There's only one person I think you can all know who probably likes them. Yeah. But anyway. This one is actually, well, it's one of the better. I'd say this and Shrek the Halls are really the only two Christmas specials that kind of work. Though this one could use a little more work itself. But it's not really a bad special per se, because the dragons didn't fly away when the Vikings and Berk want to celebrate the first Christmas with them ever since they made peace in the first one with them. The one that's staying, Meatlug, Fish Legs' dragon, unwittingly kidnaps Hiccup, who would pretty much find a discovery why they left. Well, that's kind of the story, really. This got released a year after the movie, the first film, in November 2011, as kind of like a tie-in. But yeah, let's get on with the good qualities and, well, the story, how this kind of a little too quickly made special goes. So, Gift of the Night Fury is definitely a gift to the fans of that first one, who are looking for something that does match somewhat the emotional depth of the movie, and the level of mature character development in this short does kind of somewhat exceed the movie. Like, it does cram a bit more emotion in 22 minutes than the other DreamWorks specials really know how to do. Like, this is something that really just could have been another silly short with slapstick comedy and cliche morals about holiday nonsense. But even though Gift of the Night Fury is a holiday short, it does bridge the gap between the movie and the TV show with the holiday theme. It's kind of an undertone to everything else going on. The character developments, was definitely where the story does really shine. Everyone's definitely so in character, and the interaction between everyone is very believable, easy, and lovable. The stuff that mostly does stand out, though, is definitely Hiccup and Toothless' bond in this special. This one, you kind of see, the bond that kind of grows in this special, when he first awakes Hiccup to go test flying at the start of the special, and still trying to adjust to his leg that he got from after to his new, little crippled leg, or that he pretty much, because he lost his other one in the Red Death fight, when he's trying to walk on ice, almost slips quite a few times. But he's still getting adjusted to that thing. And it really just shows how much closer these two are becoming in this short, and gives promise that everything is 100% genuine. But even though Hiccup's relationship with his new girlfriend Astrid is still definitely nice and easy addition to the kind of mix of things as well, it's not really too much the main focus. I think that's one of the problems I have with the short. I feel like you don't really get much focus on the other character interactions, with the rest of the village and stuff. It kind of rushes it a little too quickly. That's kind of the problem I have. Now do we start off? So, it's before Berk's traditional winter holiday as Snoggletog that pretty much Hiccup's narrating the special, and pretty much even he criticizes the name as stupid. Whoever came up with a stupid name like that, don't ask me. That was definitely kind of funny. I'll get at that, because that title, Snoggletog, is a ridiculous title for Christmas in Berk. And pretty much then, it starts off pretty nice, where Hiccup's pretty much being woken up by Toothless on a roof, and still trying to adjust to the harness, and they pretty much go test flying. And it kind of starts off normal. And the rest of Berk is getting ready for the winter holiday, and yeah, and you can definitely see Stoic's character development since the first film has definitely really grown right there with the interaction they have. That's some of, it's nice seeing Hiccup and Toothless' interactions, but one of the things I wish we'd also did see a little more in the special, like I wish the special was kind of slightly longer, is kind of him and Hiccup and Stoic's interactions. Like, I kind of wanted to see a little more of that in this special, too. Like, in a way, like, that's the stuff I feel could have shined really well. And stuff. And, like, everyone else is getting ready for Snuggle Talk. And then suddenly the Dragons of Berk then unexpectedly depart. And pretty much everyone is distraught. Except for Toothless, because Toothless can't fly by himself. And then pretty much Hiccup and his pals are pretty much wondering how they're going to celebrate their Snuggle Talk without their dragons. And something goes on pretty fishy, because Fishleg's the only one that's not depressed at his dragon being gone. But they know he's clearly hiding something. And he's clearly just, especially because he pretends to fake sadness by missing his dragon Meatlug. But they clearly know something's going on. And of course, Hiccup then pretty much builds this new automatic tail fin that allows him to independently fly, and it gives him his freedom, and then he flies off too. Well, the dragons do fly off, well, for a different reason. Toothless, you're about to find out, flies off for kind of a more different reason. In a way, and even kind of like the next day when, like, Hiccup thinks, like, Toothless back, like, he actually sees Stoic putting up the Snuggle Talk lights on their roof of their house. And he even kind of reassures him about Toothless' departure. Like, this is the stuff where the special kind of does shine a bit more, because while it's nice to see Hiccup and Toothless' interaction in the special, they don't have much screen time together in this special, because after he gets a new tail fin, he kind of takes off as well. And you don't really see him much again for the rest of the short till kind of the end. Which is kind of like the problem, because it's called Gift of the Night Fury, and you think that would be kind of the focus there, but after Toothless gets his new fin, he kind of just takes off for the rest of the special up until the last bit. Then the rest of the special is really kind of like trying to figure out where their dragons have gone, and then Hiccup kind of like getting snatched away by Meatlug, Ramley, and then kind of Hiccup's pals trying to find new holiday traditions without their dragons, and that's kind of what the special is more about. But eventually, 3 days later, like, the reason why Fishlegs wasn't really sad about the dragons' departure is because Meatlug was still there, and then, as Hiccup secretly finds out, but then Meatlug pretty much, who was actually kept chained to Fishlegs' house, escapes when Hiccup opens Fishlegs' hut door, and then she ends up pretty much taking Hiccup with her. That's kind of how the special starts off, and yeah. And then, like, it's playing like the plot beats here, where the setup holiday prep stalls, the dragons leave, and then, of course, Hiccup then engineers his tail fin for Toothless so he can fly without him. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the subplot with Hiccup's friends is Astrid gets this idea to find other village spirits with improvised traditions, and some of them are kind of funny. I will definitely say that. And of course, then Toothless tests in a pence, but also kind of misses his rider. Well, it's kind of the bit what we don't really see much of. And then, of course, well, you know how it's going to end. You know the dragons are going to come back in a way, so you're not really too surprised they leave. And you know they're going to return. I mean, they were planning sequels by the point this special was being kind of made. The good stuff of this special is the holiday atmosphere. Like, I like how Berk looks actually very Christmas-like, and it doesn't look like the same usual self from the other films. It still has the winter setting. The Hiccup Toothless dynamics for the brief bits are definitely good, but I also kind of like the brief little minor bits of, like, Hiccup and Stoic's interactions. Like, that's the stuff I kind of wish we also saw a bit more of in the special. And maybe the special could have been, a bit longer. Maybe the special could have been like 35 minutes or something. Sure, that may be a little long for a special, but I feel like there was a little bit more you could have did with this. Without, like, the heavy exposition, the ultra low stakes, because, well, it is really just a holiday special. There's not really supposed to be any high stakes here. And the mystery does resolve pretty nicely, and it's a touch set for Dragon Biology, does deepen some payoffs, and it's nice to see this occur kind of since the original film. Wherever since they've made peace, and the dragons are now pets. And then, of course, well, something weird does kind of go on, and there. So anyway, meanwhile, while the subplot on Burke is kind of happening, well, Meatlug takes Hiccup to this island with these hot springs, and all the dragons. Well, Toothless isn't anywhere to be found because, well, here's the thing: Toothless doesn't really have a mate. Well, he didn't have a mate yet. That is, well, he didn't have a mate till 2019. We all know that. Not till the third film, but the rest of the dragons were actually leaving because they went to go have babies, and they were hatching their eggs on a private island. And of course, when one of Meatlug's eggs pops out of one of the springs, and of course, Hiccup's pretty much like when he sees them hatch because they blow up. It's a good thing these don't hatch on Burke. And speaking of that, meanwhile on Burke, you get this pretty hilarious subplot. Astrid and the other writers are just trying to find other holiday traditions that don't end so well. Like, one of them is like Astrid trying to badly making this yak nog, which is pretty much the Viking version of eggnog, and you can tell it's not well made because it doesn't look well made, and the rest of the gang don't really like it. Well, Snarl kind of fakes liking it, but when she's kind of gone, like, he's clearly disgusted by this, and like, and Ruffnut just kind of asks, "Are you crying?" There, and like, even Hiccup secretly doesn't really like the yak nog either, but he just pretends to because, him and Astrid are a couple at that point, and just waits till she's gone to kind of spit it out, so. And of course, when they find Meatlug's eggs in Fishlegs' barn, like, Fishlegs obviously doesn't know that his Drago's a girl, and Ruffnut has to kind of correct him on that as well, which was also kind of funny. And then the funniest bit of this special is when Astrid gets the idea to replace their dragons with Meatlug's eggs. So they plant the eggs all over the village, just as, like, Hiccup has found out this discovery after on the whole island, as glad the eggs don't hatch on Burke. Well, what he does, because, well, he's not there to see that, they get that idea, so they plant them all over the village. And, of course, well, because you saw how they hatch, it does not end well. Like, after they scatter around Burke, they do hatch, like, thinking this idea is going so well, and then one of the eggs blows up, and one of the babies lands on Fishleg's face, and Snotload yells, "Ha, surprise!" And of course, like, they're awed by what they see, but then Astrid is horrified to learn that the eggs blow up when they hatch, and as soon as this is all happening, the eggs they put in all the huts, they blow up, they burn the huts, and Astrid's just apologizing to all the villagers that are just losing their huts from all the chaos. It's like there, and Snotlow's just like, this is your best idea yet, and the gang just pretty much bail on her. They get in trouble with Stoic, who sees all the chaos, like, what in Thor's name is going on? The eggs explode. Which easily is the funniest part of the special. I will admit that. I gotta laugh at me. It's right there. That was funny. Like, they're very funny seeing this pretty much already addition to the franchise, like, taking place not too long after the first, and, well, obviously a lot of years before the second, because, the second film took place 5 years after the first film, and obviously the TV series came before the second film, and focusing on the winter holiday, a counterpart to Christmas in the franchise. And the thing is, like, when this film was successful back in 2010, it's clear, like, whenever they do have a successful movie, they'll make a Christmas special to it. If it's going to be, like, a franchise starter. And, like, and yeah, now I know it is meant to be a short film, but there was stuff that I liked in the special that I wish the special could have been, like, maybe 10 minutes longer about. Yeah, it's not DreamWorks' style, but I think this could have worked as more of a 10-minute longer special, kind of like with the Rankin Bass stuff. And the animation CGIs are still cool. I mean, sure, they're not as well great as some of the movies because, well, it's a TV short, so of course the animation's not going to look as grand as the movies. But there's still so many awesome details, and it's not a bad story for a special there, and pretty much that stuff. So, since this is a short once again, there's not much to talk about, so really much, but it's still a nice, worthy little addition to the series. So, once they get to the Dragon's Island, Hiccup finds Stormfly, who's Astrid's dragon, and Hookfang, who's Snotlout's dragon, as you all remember, seeing their newly hatched babies, and it kind of leads into kind of the second film. Like, you remember in the second film when Drago kidnapped our dragons after Stoik got killed, sadly. And pretty much to get back after they had a funeral for Stoik, they had to use the babies to get back to Berk and save Berk from Drago and his army. Well, this does kind of good and kind of leading to how more dragons end up on Berk. Anyway, because they had babies during the holidays, and so pretty much Hiccup and the rest of the dragons go back with the newly hatched babies, and pretty much triggers the dragons' return migration. And pretty much uses this nearby wrecked ship to carry the baby dragons because obviously the babies don't know how to fly yet. So they can't really fly on their own. So like just as like the village has been like all destroyed from earlier, the villagers then see all their dragons returning and the new babies, though Toothless still isn't back. And Hiccup is still sad about that, but while they're celebrating the return of their dragons and celebrating Snuggletog in the inside this hut because, well, they can't celebrate outside because the village is still destroyed. But then, of course, Toothless returns, and it turns out the reason why he left is because he went to find Hiccup's lost helmet. Because, what I should have mentioned at the beginning of the short, he lost his helmet in the beginning of the short, so it was like during a test flight, so Toothless was actually out this whole time retrieving it. And clearly because of all the days he was gone, it was kind of hard to find because it was in the water. But he finds it back and he pretty much spits it on Hiccup's head, and the two enjoy this heartfelt reunion. And a special does end with them having another test flight with the little tail fin that you see in the sequels, right there. So that's how it ends. It's like not that long, but it's a perfectly good holiday special for this franchise. It's kind of a continuation, seeing the winter side of Berk and kind of seeing life was like just maybe a few months after the first film, before the rest of the adventures kind of really kick in. There's not real drama. Well, there's no villain in the short because, once again, it's just a short. Really. Why would there be that stuff? It's not really a movie. It's just a short film. But, well, in a way, and the other part it does end with is pretty much how Hiccup narrates that, pretty much how he kind of got a better gift and ended up being the best Snuggletog yet, and the better gift was Toothless' friendship and companionship, and that's how it does definitely end, right there. And it was a definitely nice little short. It was definitely not really great per se, but, not bad for a DreamWorks holiday special. And one of their better stuff. One of their better holiday specials. There, it's simple, it's harmless, it's not terrible, it's pretty good, but at the same time, it is kind of flawed. I feel like some stuff could have improved it, like I've mentioned. Like, that brings us to the bad qualities. I kind of mentioned that stuff as some of the stuff I did like, kind of like Hiccup's interactions with the rest of the Berk residents. I feel like that stuff could have been used a little bit more as well, because I did like that stuff quite a bit. Right there, and it's kind of made just a short film, kind of made to kind of cash in on the first film. It gets something for families that love the first one to watch on the holidays, and the ending is also predictable because the dragons are going to return, and there's going to be a big lesson learned, but other than that, it's a harmless addition to the series, and it's a good way to show how Christmas gets celebrated in Berk, especially for fans of the series. So in the end, I'd probably just stream this special because it's good, but it's just really a harmless one. That isn't really groundbreaking or too memorable as the movies are. But anyways, that's it for my, short review of this special Gift of the Night Fury. And if I'm going to rank this special, here's how I'm going to rank it. So overall, if you love the series and want to see one of the Christmas specials, then I would probably stream this one because it's not really groundbreaking, but it's a harmless, nice addition to the series. And we're going to rank Gift of the Night Fury. I'm going to give Gift of the Night Fury a 7 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up my review for this special. So, those who've probably seen all the other shorts and TV shows, I know I have one YouTube buddy that's seen the whole series. That's pretty much seen all the shows of this series, and probably the specials. And But I want to know, for those who have seen the specials as well, not really just the movies, to know what they think of the special if they've watched it. And well, and what you guys think of some of the other DreamWorks specials. And until then, guys, that will be it for the special review. More will be coming finally. Trying to get back on track with that. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to Don Corleone.